folks, and welcome to this video, which is a craft video where I'll be working with latex for the first time. So what we're hoping to do is use some moulds from this resin cat and then make some casts with latex and hopefully flock that latex. This is the 2-part silicone putty that I've used for the moulds. It's just like casting craft silicone putty, but it's considerably cheaper. Silhand is the make. So it's just a 20-minute set time. This is ready to take off now. And this particular mould I've made is of the cat's face, including the sleeping eyes. So it comes off really easily. And you can see there's lots of detail there of both the fur and the nose and the sleeping eyes. So it's important to use the latex without any thickener for the first coat that you put on. To make sure, I'm doing a few coats before I start adding thickener, because it needs to be thin to get all the detail. So I'm using the latex just how it is, how it comes in the tub. So leave that to dry now. And this video shows some latex castings I made earlier. So this is day 1 and that's using the latex without any thickener in, and this is what it looked like after one day of putting several layers on. So at that point the mould that I made of the cat's paw, it wasn't really drying out, it was still very white. So on the second day I didn't put any more layers on that, I left it to dry out. And on this one you can see at the top of the ear it's still very white, whereas this one has gone yellow, and when it goes yellow like that, or indeed clear in the parts where it's very thin, it's dry, so you can add some more layers. So what I did on day 3 was I started putting them on the radiator to dry, and that helped to dry out the bits that were right in the bottom of the ear and right in the bottom of the paw pad. So you find that moulds like this, where there's lots of surface area, they dry quite quickly, but the difficult ones are when you've got it enclosed like this. So I really needed to put it on the radiator, and here, after being on the radiator, it has gone yellow where the paw pads are at the bottom. And then this is day 4, and you can see it's built up to be quite thick now. I've been using thickener here, and it's got thick enough to start coming away at the edge. And the same on the ear mould. It's still a bit not set right in the corner there, but it does eventually, after leaving it on the radiator. and that one has started to come away at the edge as well. And you can see in the mould of the paw pad that that's gone yellow at the bottom now, because it's been on the radiator and it's helped it to dry out so that you can add more layers. So now it's day 5 and I'm going to remove this cast from the mould. This is the first time I've removed a latex cast. So here goes.
Oh wow.
Comes out really easy. So it's pretty difficult to see the detail on it.
I can see it though. It's because it's semi-translucent, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you've got different sort of amounts of latex behind, so you can't see properly.
So when it's painted and flocked though, it should really bring it out. But I can see the detail on the nose. It's a pity you can't see it on the screen very well.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the nose. This is after leaving it to dry out a bit longer. And then we're going to try to flock it. So I'll be putting some darker flock down here where the mouth is and the line that goes up to the nose. And then the rest of it will be with cream flock. With this next mould, I'm going to try something a bit different. I'm going to try mixing this acrylic paint with some latex and using that to paint onto the nose area of the mould. So I'll leave that to dry, and when it's dried I'll put a little bit more on. So I've put 2 layers on and that looks really black now. So that's dry and I'm going to put a layer on now of just the latex rubber. So I've put the first layer of latex on over the paint and the rest of the mould, and that's dried. And I used some of the paint and latex mix to paint the nose on the cast, the latex cast. It looks a bit sort of scruffy now because I just sort of went over more than what I want covered with paint, because when I flock it I'll be flocking over these bits and putting the glue right round the edge of the nose. So the ear latex cast is ready now to paint and flock. You can see a lot more detail on this one. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to paint the inside of the ear first pink, because it's supposed to be like pink skin, and then I'm going to try flocking these 2 pieces. So I've put some paint on the inside of the ear now, and now I'm going to flock this and the muzzle. Okay, so we just flocked it with the 1mm flock. It didn't actually do the tip of the ear. What I'm thinking is trying to put some longer flock on the tip of the ear. It's a little experimental. I've not put glue on the inside of the ear. The flock that's lying on that will brush off. So I'll wait until it's set and I'll brush that off. So I've put the flock on the back of the ear. All round here has not got glue on, so it should brush off there as well. I'm hoping to put some longer flock, 4mm, around that area. So I need to leave this glue to dry, and then I'll brush off the excess flock and we'll have a look at it and see what it's like. So I've brushed off most of the excess flock now and it's looking pretty good. Still not fully set on the back of the ears, so I'm trying not to touch that. But so far, that's looking really good. So I've just put a very fine bit of glue where the line coming down from the nose is and the mouth, and I'll brush off the excess flock once the glue's set. So we've put flock on the rest of the muzzle now, put cream flock on. It still needs brushing off the nose and the excess needs brushing off once the glue's set. But I am pleased with how it's looking so far. So I've still not brushed the excess off yet because I don't want to disturb it until it's definitely set. But side by side, that's what it's like compared with one that I made on polymer clay. What would you say, Paul, about the difference in the polymer clay muzzle and the latex muzzle?
I think you're getting some of the texture coming through on the latex muzzle. It was certainly easier to flock.
Yeah, it was easier to flock and I felt like I had more control. Like the mouth on this one, I managed to get the dark bit of it thinner,
yeah,
which I wanted. And the nose is a better shape. The black bit of it is a better shape.
Right, yeah. And you're going to put some longer flock around the perimeter of the short flock, are you?
Yes, yeah. But we did notice that it seemed to want to flock more than...
Yeah, the flock was attracted very easily to the latex without using a glue trace going
That's
to the
right,
electrodes.
Yeah. It certainly seems to be really good material to flock.
Yeah, they seem to be a very good combination, latex and flock, yeah.
And the really good thing about these is they're flexible. So for using on a model, it's going to be soft. I could put stuff in behind this, in between that and the plastic of the model I'm working on. So it's more, well, it's flexible, whereas polymer clay's hard.
That's right, so it should feel good, feel more lifelike.
And it should be easier to work with when I put it on the model. So folks, that's all we've got time for in this video. In the next video, I'm going to be trying to use some 4mm flock on the top of the ear, maybe a bit around the edge of the ear, on this part of the head, and around this part of the outer edge of the muzzle. So we'll see how that goes. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching as always, and see you next time.